Hey everybody, my name is Ashley Rush, and I'm an independent creative memories advisor located in North Carolina. Today I'm back with you guys continuing our series on project recipes. For those of you who don't know, project recipes is something that Creative Memories came up with. It is a cutting guide that they make for each and every single one of their new collections. It's a simple cutting guide to make a 2-page spread. It is designed to go with that collection, but if you have a little bit of ingenuity, you can use those project recipes and apply them to all of the collections, past, present, and future. So to demonstrate that, I will actually be showing you guys the Glacier Project Recipe. I believe this dates back to 2018, maybe 2019, and I'll be using our brand new Snowbound paper. So for this project recipe, you will need 2 sheets of designer paper that coordinate from your collection, and then 3 sheets of cardstock. 2 of those will be your base, and then 1 will be for mats and some extras. I find that white works really well for that 3rd sheet, and then the base sheets just sort of need to coordinate. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to sort of build as I go and see how that works. So I'm going to put my 2 base sheets here. I am using the Starry Night, I believe it's called. Yes, Starry Night Shimmer cardstock for my base. This camera angle is not doing this justice. It's a really beautiful sort of shimmery purple blue. All right, so I'm going to do Starry Night as my bases, put those here. I'm going to set aside, I actually have a Shimmer White as my white sheet that I'm going to set aside. All right, the first thing we need to do is pull out our 12-inch trimmer, and we are going to take one of the decorative sheets and you're going to cut it in 6 inches. So this is actually going to span across your pages. So you're going to want to make sure that any pattern you're using goes the right direction. So for me, I need to turn this way. I need to extend my arm because I've removed my little shortcut sticky. All right. I'll line this up at 6. All right. And those are just gonna go sort of across the middle on your layout. It doesn't need to be perfect yet. We're not adhering anytime soon, but just so you have a general idea of where they go. All right, now we're going to take our 2nd sheet. Now originally, this called for using the tearing tool, but I don't want to use the tearing tool, so I'm not going to. Our first cut is going to be at 2.5. Then we're going to need another 2.5-inch strip. Setting these aside. Oops, I missed a spot. All right. And then we're going to do some 3.5-inch pieces. This should give you 2 3.5 by 12-inch rectangles. And then these we're actually going to cut into several squares as well. So each of these strips should give you 3 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch squares, and then a 3.5 by 1.5 inch rectangle. So you're just going to repeat that again with your second 3.5 by 12 strip. Again, cutting that 3.5 so that you can get several squares. All right, I'm going to set the trimmer aside really quick so I can show you roughly where these squares go. Now we're going to circle back to these original strips that we pulled out. These are supposed to be cut using our tearing tool, but that's not my favorite. So I'm actually going to use our 12-inch trimmer, and then I'm just going to use a decorative blade to go with it. So instead of tearing, let's go ahead, let's do the deckle blade. That has a tearing type texture with a little bit more ease of use. And because we're using the trimmer, we'll be able to measure exactly where our cut is happening, so they'll be uniform. All right, I put my blade in. Let us cut, I don't know, 1/2 inch? Sure. I'm gonna do the 1/2 inch mark. I'm using the right hand of the trimmer to measure my 1/2 inch. And voila, I have a tearing type texture. So these are actually going to go the top and the bottom of your spread. And you will turn upside down one to get the reverse. So let's repeat that with our second strip. All right, now we have one more sheet to address. With this one, we have a couple quick cuts to do. I need to switch my blade back to my straight blade. And I'm gonna go ahead and stow that deckle blade so I don't lose it. So first we are going to need a 1/2 inch strip by 12, so the full length. And you're actually gonna make 2 of those. All right, next we are going to make 2 4x4 squares. Set aside this big rectangle, you're going to need that in a minute. So here's my first 4x4 square, and then my second. You'll have a third that this is just extra. You can set that aside. We're actually done with our trimmer now, so let me set that down. All right, those 4x4 squares are going to layer underneath. And then these little 1/2-inch strips are actually going to go underneath of that 6-inch strip. So you can sort of adjust up as needed. All right, we are just about done. We do need to add one little decorative touch. This really calls for like a border across the bottom, sort of tucked underneath of this deckled or ripped edge. I really wanted to use our brand new snowflake punch, but I don't have it in hand yet. So I'm gonna use this poinsettia punch. I know this was limited edition and not everybody has it, but it's the closest I have to snowflakes. And it brings in some of these white flowers that are in this dark green. And if I cut it out of the same shimmer white, they'll kind of look like snowflakes. So I'm just sort of cheating. If you guys aren't familiar on how to use our standalone decorative border punches, make sure you watch the video I've made. I will link it in the description. All right, so I'm just gonna do 2 quick borders using this leftover sheet. All right, I went ahead and cut a second border off camera, and these are just going to tuck sort of nicely behind this bottom green strip. And you sort of play around with their placements. And here is the base of our project recipe done. The next thing we have to do is just come back through with our tape runner and adhere it all down. Before you do that, you can sort of play around with flipping sides over, seeing what you like better. And then we'll be able to come back and add our photos and our embellishments. So let's get started. All right, just like that, we are finished with our project recipe. There's some great places to title and journal here and here. If you are like me and you do these ahead of time without knowing exactly which photos you guys are going to use, you're going to want to make sure you guys are using repositionable tape runner because that will allow you to move your photo mats as necessary. Or you could just not adhere your photo mats until you are ready to put them down. All right, what do you guys think of the Snowbound? I am in love. I'm loving the blues and the greens and how they work together. I'm a fan. And it ended up looking really cute with the poinsettia punch, and I'm sure that the snowflake punch will be just as beautiful. All right, make sure you guys give me some love in the comment section. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you never want to miss a video, hit that bell as well. I look forward to seeing you all next week. I'll talk to you later. Bye.